Ravi had walked across more bridges than he could count, rickety footpaths, cracked concrete, colonial relics, but this one, the Sarai Bridge, always felt different. It wasn't just the age of the structure or the way it creaked under his boots. It was something quieter. As if the bridge held memories of lives passing between forest and field, some too old to name. It was early morning, and the mist still clung low over the river. The monsoon had come and gone, leaving the ground soft and swollen. Ravi parked his motorbike on the roadside and slung a canvas satchel over his shoulder, the kind field inspectors always carried, clipboards, measuring tape, a flashlight, and a dull graphite pencil that always broke at the worst time. His job that morning was straightforward: assess potential water damage after the rains. The Sarai Bridge, wooden planks, stone pillars, rusted metal joints, was one of the oldest in the district, and no one had funds for its replacement. But as Ravi stepped onto the bridge, clipboard in hand, he noticed something: stillness. Not just silence, but an eerie stillness, as if the birds themselves had hushed. Then came the sound of branches shifting, slowly, heavily, near the forest's edge. Ravi looked up. Emerging from the tree line was a figure too large, too quiet, and too deliberate to be anything but a wild elephant. His heart jumped. A bull, alone. The tusks were short, the ears worn with age or maybe skirmishes. The elephant limped, favoring its left front leg. With each step, it hesitated, lowering its foot gingerly, as if the very ground hurt. Ravi instinctively stepped back, not from fear but from respect. He'd grown up in a nearby village. Elephants were not strangers, but wild bulls could be unpredictable, especially when in pain. But this one did not charge. Did not trumpet. It came to the edge of the bridge and paused. The distance between them was only 15 meters now. Ravi held his breath. And then something remarkable happened. The elephant lowered itself, slowly, carefully, onto the ground. It groaned as it folded its massive legs beneath its body. Its trunk curled and then fell slack in the dust. Its dark eyes never left Ravi. He saw it clearly now, a jagged, rusted spike embedded deep in its leg, wrapped in old wire. Dried blood crusted around the wound, but new blood still seeped slowly, dark and wet. The infection was already rising. Ravi's voice trembled as he called the ranger station. "I need backup," he said. "A vet. Wildlife services. Anyone. There's an elephant here, and he's not attacking. He's asking for help." The officer on the other end of the line hesitated before answering. Ravi could hear them relaying the message. "Are you in immediate danger?" the voice asked. "No," Ravi said softly, eyes still locked with the elephant's. "But he is." 20 minutes later, a green jeep came down the dusty track. Two people stepped out, Sanjeev, a senior wildlife officer with 30 years in the bush, and Leela, a young veterinarian who had recently transferred from Colombo. It was her first month in the field. The three of them approached slowly. The elephant lifted his head but didn't stir. Leela crouched a few meters away, scanning the wound. He must have stepped on a poacher's trap. That spike's been in there a while. He limped all the way here, Ravi murmured. And then laid down. To show he's not a threat, Sanjeev added. That's not something bulls do. Leela opened her kit. Her hands were steady, but her voice carried weight. We can sedate him. I'll need to clean the wound, extract the metal, and disinfect the tissue. It won't be quick. Ravi stood back as Leela loaded the tranquilizer dart. The jungle held its breath. The dart hissed through the air and struck gently into the elephant's shoulder. Minutes passed. The giant's head drooped slowly, trunk curling back into its own shadow. His breathing remained steady, but his eyes closed, finally at rest. Ravi knelt near the elephant, tracing the rough edges of the embedded spike with a flashlight beam. This was no accident. The metal had been shaped crudely, curved with intention. Poachers didn't always go after ivory. Sometimes they laid traps for anything that wandered too close to farmland. Leela placed a gloved hand on the wound. "We'll need to work fast. The infection's already climbing." Ravi nodded, standing again. He looked out at the forest, where other elephants might still roam unseen. And then he looked down at the one who had come alone. And laid himself at the feet of humans, not to beg, not to surrender, but to trust. The surgery was long and tense. Leela worked in silence, flushing the wound and carefully extracting the jagged metal spike lodged deep in the elephant's shoulder. It took all her focus and steadiness, assisted by Sanjeev's quiet efficiency. Ravi stood close, watching the old bull breathe, its enormous chest rising and falling like waves. After nearly an hour, Leela finally leaned back, wiping her forehead. "The worst is over. But he'll need rest. A lot of it. We'll keep him by the river," Ravi said. "Safe and close." Word spread quickly. By afternoon, villagers from nearby Madana arrived to help. They brought bamboo poles, rope, banana leaves, and pots of water. No one asked why, they simply worked. Children watched with wide eyes, whispering and pointing at the sleeping giant. A few even left flowers nearby. The people remembered the elephant. Some claimed he had passed their fields for years, never harming a soul. The makeshift enclosure came together fast, shaded by tall neem trees. It wasn't a cage, it was protection. That evening, the elephant stirred. Confused at first, he touched the water trough with his trunk, then the soft bedding beneath him. When Ravi approached slowly, the bull didn't react with fear. Instead, he gently wrapped his trunk around Ravi's arm, just for a moment, then released. A quiet acknowledgement. A bridge of trust. In the days that followed, the elephant recovered. Leela visited each morning, checking the wound, applying ointments, and mixing antibiotics with mashed fruit. The villagers kept watch, bringing food and clearing the space. Ravi sat near the enclosure in the evenings, reading aloud or simply talking. The elephant often stood nearby, listening, or maybe just resting in the comfort of his presence. By the 6th day, the swelling had subsided. The wound was healing cleanly. The bull began to wander a bit, dipping his trunk in the river, brushing against trees. The forest was calling him back. On the 7th morning, Sanjeev arrived. "We should open the gate." Everyone gathered. The elephant stepped forward, pausing just before the opening. He turned once, looking back, not with fear, but with calm awareness. His eyes met Ravi's. Then he walked into the forest without a sound. Weeks passed. Ravi returned often to the Sarai bridge. He watched the river flow, listened to the wind in the trees, and sometimes thought he heard something deeper, a distant footstep, a rustle beyond the brush. One cloudy afternoon, he spotted fresh prints in the mud. Large, deliberate. Elephant prints. Near the bridge lay a piece of broken bamboo, one of the same kind used for the enclosure. It had been placed there carefully. A sign. A thank you. He smiled. Sometimes, trust doesn't need words. Sometimes, it's just a presence. A shared moment. A bridge built between two worlds. Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe to support the channel. See you in the next episodes.